Hi, welcome to my highlight video making tutorial. In this video I'll be going over the whole process from start to finish in 4 easy steps: recording, cutting, bit making, and encoding. Let's start with recording. This is the easy part. I use OBS to record all my gameplay and desktop and mic audio, and I have hotkeys to make it easier. For example, to start and stop the recording, I press numpad 1. I keep my number lock on at all times, and I use these keys because they're out of the way but still easy to press. To pause and unpause the recording, I press numpad 2, and most importantly, to make timestamps, I press numpad 3. While I record, anytime something funny or otherwise notable happens, I press my timestamp key, which adds information to a text file for me to use later. This is all thanks to a plugin that I've linked in the description. The text file tells me when the recording started, when it stopped, anytime that I paused the recording, how long it was paused for, and when the funny moments occurred. This is the 24-hour time when the timestamp was made. I prefer not to use the 24-hour time, but it's not something I can fix. And this is the time in the raw footage when the timestamp was made, which is important. After I'm done recording, OBS automatically titles the video file with the exact date and time that the recording started, and saves it in a folder of my choosing. Then I hop into Adobe Premiere Pro to start the editing process. I have a few projects solely for making highlights as shown here. After I open one, I import the video file and drag it onto the timeline. Notice that it's one big sequence on the timeline at first. Using the razor tool, I can make a cut wherever I want, which allows me to make individual segments in the main footage for various reasons. From the funny moment text file, I take the raw footage time from each moment, insert it into this field right here, and click anywhere outside of it to jump to that time in the raw footage. Then I make a cut right where the funny moment happened. I do this for every single timestamp in the text file, and because of the hotkeys that I use for Premiere, which I won't get into, it's actually a very quick process. And when I'm done, the sequence looks like this. The reason I did all of that is so I can jump from one timestamp to another and go back and forth as I please. This will make the rest of the editing process easier. For each timestamp, I jump to the cut as shown before, and go back in the footage about 10 to 15 seconds to see why I made a timestamp in the first place. I might also look at how the audio peaks to know where to jump in the footage. Usually when there's something loud, there's something funny. Then I watch the bit, assess it, and see how I can make it funny without it taking up too much of my time. Speaking broadly, since this isn't a Premiere tutorial, this can include adding images, text, video, or audio. It can also include making the clip bearable, such as when I accidentally include some not safe for work material in my video and I have to censor it, or when my mic is especially loud during gameplay and I have to lower my voice and boost my friends' voices. Or sometimes the bit is funny by itself and I just leave it. Either way, I make some extra cuts to mark the end of the clip, and I color code the segments so I know where one bit ends and another begins. Something I also have hotkeys for. In between clips, I delete the excess raw footage, and this is what the timeline looks like as I continue. I continue this until there are no more clips left to make bits from. I also put the date and time from the video file title in the top left so that, in the future, I can look back at highlights in the main video and see when I was recording what. It only stays there for about 1/3 of a second, so it's non-intrusive but noticeable. The encoding process is the last thing to do, and it's almost as easy as recording. All I do is set a place for the video to export to, and I wait for it to finish. I label it as highlights, and once I'm sure that nothing went wrong with the encoding, or that I forgot any edits, I delete the raw footage used to make the highlights. This is to ensure that I don't just endlessly build up space, which used to be a problem for me. Then the highlights are safe in a folder until I have enough of them to make a video. I'll start making the videos themselves once I'm done with all the clips. Now repeat those 4 steps many times, and you've got what I decided to do for Thanksgiving break of 2022. It's kind of tiring, but watching the clips back with friends has made it worthwhile. I hope this has been enlightening. See you next time.